Sunnyside Middle School for introducing me to Starfish and Coffee. A school that plays Prince during their morning meeting is okay by me, better than okay by me. Good morning, everybody. Today is Thursday, June 4th, 2020. We welcome you all, our Sunnyside Middle School student community. Welcome staff, family, and friends that are here supporting our 6 speakers here today. Welcome and thank you to the folks that are watching on our YouTube channel right now, or streaming right now, or watching later. We so appreciate you, and Eamon Nairi Klein for facilitating that and making sure that happens. Thank you, thank you. We have 6 speakers today. I'm so excited to introduce and have you listen to speeches by Manu, Cassius, Newton, Naya, Alex, and Simon. Before we do our sound and mic check, though, I just want to say this is our second to last day of speeches. Michael will be wrapping us up on Monday. And I would be remiss if I didn't say thank you to all of you, to our 6th and 7th graders who sit here and in solidarity and support the 8th graders every day as they speak their truth to us, as they vulnerably stand up and let us know who they are. By being here, sitting here with us, you're speaking volumes. Like I said the other day, you don't have to be loud to get a message across. Simply by being here, we really, really appreciate it. And to the 72 8th graders who have either already given a speech or who are about to give a speech, the word thank you isn't enough. Your speeches are like gifts to us every single day. You share yourselves, your vulnerability. You talk about your fears, your passions, your diagnoses, your dreams, your families, what gets you out of bed every day. And to sit here and just open yourself up to us like that, it's incredible. So please know that we do not take it lightly. We love you, we care about you so much, and we are so grateful. I am so grateful. This community is so grateful for you. So let's do it. Let's get this going to our 6 speakers today: Manu, Cassius, Newton, Naya, Alex, and Simon. Let's do mic and video check. Manu Quintero, how are you?
I'm good.
Good to see you. Hey, Manu, I hear that basketball might be coming back.
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
Yes.
Do you have a favorite team?
The Lakers.
Oh, do you have a favorite player on the Lakers?
Alex Caruso.
Okay. All right, Manu, thank you so much. We're going to hear a little bit from you in just a little bit. Thank you so much for being here. Cassius Lake, how are you?
I'm good.
Awesome, Cassius. Good to see you. Cassius, what is something that you're looking forward to doing when the quarantine's over?
Probably go swimming with friends.
Oh, yes, I'm with you. I hear you. All right, good to see you, Cassius. We'll see you in just a little bit. Thanks for being here. Newton Bopfavong, are you here?
Mm-hmm. Yo.
There you are. How are you?
A little bit nervous.
Yeah, that's all right. Thanks for saying so. You are not alone. That's a common response from lots of our 8th graders who are about to give their speeches. Newton, did you have breakfast today?
Yeah.
What did you have?
I just had some Lucky Charms for cereal.
Yeah, I love it. Do you use milk or some sort of milk, or do you just eat it dry out of the box?
I put in milk. Cereal first.
Got you. So glad you're here, Newton. We'll see you in a little bit.
Thank you.
Thank you. Naya Thompson.
Hi.
Hi. How are you?
I'm kind of nervous.
Yeah, that's all right. You're going to do great. Naya, thanks for being here. Now we can see you. You moved away from that window. Good job, Mom. Hey, Naya, do you have a favorite quarantine snack that you've been snacking on?
Yeah. Either like apples or cucumbers.
Mm-hmm. All right. Sounds good and healthy. Thanks, Naya. We'll see you in a little bit. Glad you're here. Alex, Waylon, Liberman, how are you?
Good.
Good. So good to see you. Alex, have you been listening to any music lately?
Yes.
Anything we should know about? Anything new out there?
I mean, not really.
Okay. Any recommendations?
Blood Water by Grandson.
Okay. Thank you. I put you on the spot there. Awesome job. Awesome job. So glad you're here today, Alex. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Thank you. Simon Millay, how are you?
Hi, I'm good.
Good. Good to see you, Simon. Hey, Simon, what are you looking forward to doing after the quarantine is over?
Hang out with friends more.
Yeah, definitely. Sounds good. Sounds like a plan. Simon, we're so glad you're here today. Good to see you. We'll hear from you in a little bit. All right, my Super Six speakers today. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being brave and courageous and sharing your truth with us today. We are here for you. We're sitting in solidarity. We love you, and we look forward to hearing from you. Manu Quintero, you're up. The space is yours.
Okay. Change. It is something that is unavoidable. It doesn't matter how much you don't want it to happen. It is something everyone will experience in their lives for better or for worse. Change is something I have had many encounters with in my life. I've moved 7 times in my life, and I've lived on 2 different sides of the coast. Not to mention, I have a total of 7 siblings. While there's been a lot of change so far in my life, none of it has really been that bad. At times I was reluctant to it, but over time I learned to get used to it. For example, I had to move from Baltimore to Portland. At first I had mixed feelings about it. I really didn't want to leave my friends behind, but at the same time I was excited for something new. The worst part about this, though, was that we had to leave in July, which was my favorite time of the year to hang out with all my other friends. I said my goodbyes and that was it, and I haven't seen any of them in years, but I think it is essential to be able to move on. While it may seem as if change is a rare occurrence, it affects everyone on a daily basis. It influences everything around you, including yourself. With this being said, it is often hard to be aware of it, for some change becomes prevalent in people's lives when they lose something close to them. And change is often felt when something is shifting from one thing to another. Take right now, for example. We are living in the midst of a crazy pandemic, and I am presenting my 8th grade speech through a video chat. There are definitely quite a few issues that plague us right now, but I think with this change, it has also brought several positive influences. I think when there is change, it can be just as valuable to focus on the positive aspects than to face the negative. This may be a very dramatic and bizarre example of change, but it's not like change can't be your brain just deciding it wants to do something different. So that means it can be just as exciting as it is random. On one hand, there's all the heavy stuff that I just talked about, and on the other hand, there's change that I went through recently when I decided to sleep facing my wall instead of my door. That to me is what is fascinating about change. It is constantly there, which is kind of weird as well. And another thing that change can do is make you really frustrated. When I was in 5th grade, I had a really fun time with all the kids I had just been getting to know, and then all of a sudden we moved to another part of town. At first it was fine because I would get to stay at my current school for the remainder of the year. But when I found out I have to start middle school at Sunnyside, only knowing one other person, I was not thrilled. And I still think that based off of my experience here so far, it is well justified. While I'm not always excited to be here, I can't deny that I have learned a lot. Things that seemed so unimportant and boring before became a part of my everyday life. Although for me, the best part about coming here was getting the opportunity to go on field trips almost every week. And in addition to this, I've gotten to go on a few marine bio trips, but Catalina got canceled, so I didn't get to go there. So with all this being said, I think plenty of good can come out of change. Now that all the negative change is out of the way, I want to focus on the positive change that has impacted me. Moving to the Sunnyside neighborhood kind of sucked at first because I wouldn't be able to see most of my friends that much anymore. But as I started to build connections with the people here, I realized that this is the place I want to be. There are so many fun places to go. It doesn't matter if you want some good food or you want to play basketball. There is so much to do, you can pick from anything. With that being said, I think the most valuable change in my life was quitting soccer to play basketball. Ever since I was in preschool, the only thing I wanted to do was kick a soccer ball. And over the years, I have played for a lot of different teams, ranging from the club level to just lessons. As I started to progress, I began to enjoy the game less and less to the point where it became a chore. This was around this time, which was about midway through 4th grade, I took my little interest in basketball and ran with it. I knew whenever I stepped out onto a court, I was bound to have fun. So I decided to try out for a basketball team, and when I made it, I took it really seriously, and unlike soccer, I was having fun. Right before 6th grade, I decided to abandon soccer and completely focus on basketball. And to this day, I think it is the best decision I've ever made. I don't really care if you've been giving this speech any thought at all, but I think you can actually take something away from this, unlike most other things I say. My final point is that change is to be embraced with compassion and determination. It is here to stay and it won't go away. So the next time you have to tackle another curveball that life throws on you, meet it head on. Thank you for listening to my speech.
Woo, Manu! Yes, Manu Quintero, we can count on you for some straight talk. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for your speech, Manu. We appreciate you. Thank you. Well done. All right, Cassius Lake, are you ready? If you are, the space is all yours.
Okay. What is procrastination? Human beings have been procrastinating for centuries. The problem is so timeless. In fact, ancient Greek philosophers like Socrates and Aristotle have even developed a word to describe it. Procrastination is the act of postponing decisions or actions. For example, if you needed to write an 8th grade speech and decided to be on your phone instead, you would be procrastinating. If someone were to think you're a procrastinator, that might associate with you being lazy, being a lounger, or a slow starter. These are not very positive things to hear, especially if you're struggling with procrastination. There are many reasons why people procrastinate. I'm going to share some of those reasons with you, as well as share why I procrastinate and my plan for the future for knowing this information. People who procrastinate are all kinds of reasons. They may have disorders like depression, anxiety, ADHD, or they could be feeling overwhelmed and fear they're going to fail. They may lack motivation or be afraid of negative feedback. People can procrastinate because they have lack of energy. People generally do not procrastinate because they don't care. Sometimes they fear, they want to be their work so perfect, it's scary. And it's scary to begin, and they want to have a perfect grade. For me, I lack motivation. I don't forget what is assigned, but usually there are other things that are more motivating. I like to live in the moment and spend time with my friends. It's not that I won't do the work, I just don't see why I should do it until I absolutely have to. I will keep telling myself that I will do it later until there is no later, and I have to get it done, most of the time. Unfortunately, this means I don't get the best grade, and I always feel like I'm rushing everything to the end. This is something I want to change about myself going into high school. For this speech, I did some research on how best not to procrastinate, and there are a lot of strategies that I did not know about, and I found 3 that I plan to try out for next year. One of them is to eliminate my procrastination pit stops. What that means is that I need to work in an environment of free distraction, which includes putting my phone away. I don't know about you, but it's hard for me to concentrate on my homework when my phone is getting texts. Second, I will use a planner every day. This is where I will write down my homework and make a plan on when to do it. The idea is to break down my assignments into smaller chunks and set it aside time for each of them. I realize that this will be completely new and a habit that I'll have to work on. Finally, I read it's important to look at the big picture. When trying not to procrastinate, this means that I will feel overwhelmed with schoolwork. But I have to remember this one assignment is connected to a grade that will help me graduate high school, which is the big picture. This is my plan to stop procrastinating. to better myself in the future and to stop this habit. It may not be a perfect plan, and I may experiment with other plans, but this is my plan for now. Thank you.
Cassius! Yes. Ooh, Cassius, I don't have a cowbell like Michael does, but if I did, I would be hitting it for you today. Great job, Cassius Lake. Thank you so much for your speech today, for sharing that part of yourself. We're thankful. Thank you, Cassius. Good job. Good job. All right, moving on to our third speaker today, Newton Bapfavong. The space is yours.
All right. Acceptance. I believe that it is an obstacle that every and any person may encounter throughout their lives. Whether it is when you're at a party with a bunch of family that you may not know but try to fit in. May it be playing a game of squads in Fortnite with some total strangers and try to fit in with them. Well, for me at least, I faced acceptance during my journey throughout Sunnyside when recess would come. Every day, I would come to the basketball court and talk or play on the court, not only because I liked playing it, but also because I would feel accepted. The court was a place where you could easily talk to others while playing a game. It was also a place where you could achieve something like making a full court shot into the big hoop, or simply just making a three-pointer, and then being congratulated. Those feelings were simply some of the best out there. Playing basketball was my way of feeling accepted by playing the same game that others were. I started to face acceptance in every grade, every class in middle school. When I began sixth grade, I started to feel self-conscious of myself. I started to get worried about whether or not people in my class would like me since I hadn't known many people in the higher up grades, unlike others might have through their older siblings. I faced that challenge that everybody else would have in life, where the question, will I be accepted? Would others let me into their friend groups? Where I would be scared to talk to people I didn't know well just because of my fear of being rejected or ignored, to be embarrassed in front of the whole class. And although I did make some friends in sixth grade, I could still feel myself holding back from others. But then I started to feel change when I had entered seventh grade. I started to feel pressure of change. I started to notice how much the school had started to transition. People had started to shift their clothing style, their personalities, just so that they could feel accepted, to fit in with the others who were also transforming. It was like the whole school community had completely shifted. This was the time when I also felt a change in myself. I started to open myself up more to others. I started taking risks that I would not have before. I started to become more outgoing, pushing myself to start talking to others that I hadn't talked to before. I started to actually be myself out in class, where in sixth grade, I wouldn't have. And now came eighth grade, the last year that I would spend in Sunnyside as a student. During eighth grade, the last year, during eighth grade, the year that you would spend the most social pressure in, you would start to feel the amount of homework flowing in. You started to feel the pressure of high school coming and wondered, would you be accepted there? Transitioning into high school was basically a whole new start, but I didn't have the time to think about that. I had to think about now, the present. I now had started to feel the pressure of responsibility and to be a positive influence. This felt strange because I was always used to being the one who looks up to people. But now I look at where I am. I'm looking around to see that this is just another year of school. Throughout my journey of Sunnyside, I felt that I had learned something. I felt that I learned that sometimes friends can come into your life, but they can also go. But I also learned to accept that that's just life. It's hard to keep friends in arm's reach forever.
Newton. Yes, Newton. Oh my gosh, Newton, I just kept, I wanted more. I wasn't ready for it to end. I wanted more. It was so, thank you. Thank you, Newton. Thank you for taking us on
Thank
that
you,
journey.
Alex.
Yeah, thank you. Whew. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, we are moving on with our fourth speaker of the day, Naya Thompson. The space is yours.
Why? Why can't I be normal like all the other girls? I used to ask myself this question every day of fourth grade. And every day I would go to school and look at all the other kids who didn't have to prick themselves with a needle every 3 hours or stick a syringe in their arm every time they wanted something to eat. I still don't know why it was me who got this incurable disease. But what is normal? What does it mean to be normal? Personally, I think normal is different to each individual. But when I was 9, I didn't think that. I thought that normal was blonde hair, blue eyes, and fair skin. I didn't really understand that normal was different to each individual. My mom always said that normal was just a setting on the dryer, but I didn't really understand that either. Now, I do understand. I understand that I am normal. I'm not different because I have more responsibility, and I'm not different because I have a different reality than others. I'm normal because I'm human, just like everyone else. What I don't understand is why anyone would strive to be normal when they can strive to be extraordinary. In my opinion, we're all extraordinary. We're all extraordinary in our own ways. For example, my mom, who joined a group of hairstylists that are advocating for their industry and educating on the dangers of opening shop in phase 1 and their ability to open business safely in this time of a pandemic. Or my grandpa, who at the age of 60 got up out of his wheelchair and graduated with a master's in religion studies, even though he had stage 4 lung cancer. Or the people who are protesting Black Lives Matter and demanding justice for all the innocent and unarmed Black people who were killed for no reason. I may not know all it takes to be extraordinary, but what I'm learning is extraordinary doesn't have to be big. It can be a small act, like helping an elderly person in the grocery store, or sitting with a kid that is alone at lunch. What I do know is that normal is just a label. We all have our own version of what normal is. Normal is unique to each person. Being extraordinary is a choice. Each day is a new opportunity to make a choice to be extraordinary. All we have to do is listen to our heart. Thank you.
Woo, Naya! Yes, Naya Thompson. Woo! Yes, Naya Thompson, you are extraordinary. You're already extraordinary. Your speech was extraordinary. It was fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing your journey with us, Naya. We appreciate that. Great job. Thank you, Naya. Oh my goodness. All right, 2 more speeches. We're doing awesome. Thank y'all for hanging in there. Stand up and stretch if you need to. But we're moving to Alex Whalen Liberman, if you are ready.
Okay. President Obama once said all people should be treated equally, regardless of who they are or who they love. I believe that everyone deserves the right to a safe space where they don't have to be afraid, where they don't have to hide who they truly are. For me, this is QSA. QSA, also known as the Queer Straight Alliance. This is a place where everyone is welcome except for people who are homophobic. QSA is a place where I can be with my friends. It's a place where my friends are. QSA is the place where I learned that you shouldn't be afraid to be who you are. To be honest, I haven't ever really felt female. I mean, when I was really little, I didn't really know what it meant to be queer. I thought that it was the name of a place where big kids and adults went. But at the age of 6, I finally realized that it wasn't a place at all. It was how someone identified. At Sunnyside, there are some people who I think don't understand what QSA is, and they make fun of it. This makes me feel uncomfortable and upset because I can't change how I identify. It's who I am, and QSA is my community. QSA is different from a classroom because it's a place where mainly people who are in the LGBTQ community go. It's where those people can be together. It feels good. A place where you can be open about how you are feeling. We made an agreement that we won't talk about stuff outside of QSA. That what we say in QSA stays in QSA. It's a place where we can talk about what's going on in our homes, where we can help each other and talk about stuff and know that it's not going to be shared with people outside our group. The moment I walk into QSA, I immediately feel happy. If I could snap my fingers and get anything I want, I would ask for equality for everyone in the LGBTQ plus community. Everyone would have access to respect and safety in the world, free of judgment and mean ideas. That teachers, other students, parents, and people in general see us as not a problem, but just as a full normal person who is their equal and as a human being. LGBTQ plus people wouldn't have to feel unsafe. I want the world to be a safe place for everybody. Thank you.
Yes, Alex. Woo! Alex Whalen Liberman, yes. Great job. Woo! Yes, please. Great job, Alex. Thank you so much for your bravery. We love it. We hope that for the world as well. And the world is already a better place with you in it. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. Whew! Yes. All right. Last speech of the day. Simon Mole, the space is all yours.
Have you ever not wanted to do something so bad that you put it off until the very last second? Well, I do all the time. I'm just now starting to write my speech at Winna's house 4 days after it was due because I've been putting it off for months. I think my reasoning was, well, if I don't think about it, it doesn't exist. Honestly, I'm not even that nervous about giving the speech. I just had no idea what I was going to write it about and was afraid that once it was my turn to give a speech, I would have no speech to give. My conflict is, I want a good speech, but I don't want to try. Putting this off for months just made it more stressful and seemed like a way bigger deal than it really is. It would always be in the back of my mind, and I'd tell myself, I still have 2 weeks, I'm fine. But when 2 weeks turns into 1, and 1 turns into 5 days, it gets hard to actually think about sitting down and writing it. It's hard not to end up in this loop, and I'm trying my best to break this habit. I have lots of examples of procrastination in my life, but other than this speech, the biggest thing I procrastinated was telling my dad I wanted to live at my mom's full time and not his house anymore. I've always been more happy, had more freedom, and was more understood at my mom's. I put off telling him for years and was miserable at his house because of it. Even though I knew this was what I needed, I was afraid of hurting him and or him getting pissed. I felt like I couldn't be myself at his house, and not being yourself is really exhausting. It was constantly on my mind and got in the way of school, friendships, and good mental health. I eventually just sucked it up and told him how I felt, and it was so worth it. He mostly understood where I was coming from and that this is what I needed. I now live with my mom's full time, and other than this virus, I'm happier than I've honestly ever been. Middle school has taught me a lot, but the biggest takeaway is that when you know you need to do something that's hard, Sometimes you have to suck it up, take the risk, and rip the Band-Aid off, even if it's hard and feelings might be hurt in the process. Trust me, it's worth it, and definitely a less stressful way to live. Realizing this is already starting to change the way I approach school, friends, and overall obstacles in life. Thank you.
Yes, Simon Mole! Woo! Yeah! Woo! Thank you, Simon. Yes, thank you, Simon. Thank you for speaking your truth to this group of 200 people. We're so glad that you found your happiness. So thank you, thank you. Manu, Cassius, Newton, Naya, Alex, Simon, thank you six so much for bearing your hearts with us today. You are in our hearts. We love you. We appreciate you. Please have your cameras on so that Carrie and Robin can acknowledge you and appreciate you. All right, I'm going to turn it over to Robin. Is that right?
Yes.
Perfect.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Alex. And thank you all 6 8th graders for sharing with us. I would like to start with Manu. Manu, wow. Change. What a profound topic to tackle in your speech. You share the many changes in your life, from moving, new schools, shifts, losses, and gains. Hold on, everyone. I'm sorry. Shifts, losses, and gains. You beautifully highlight for us the way that you personally move through changes, and then you focus on the positives. Thank you for your ultimately uplifting speech. You nod to human connection and how important relationships are throughout change. Manu, I'm so proud of you. You rocked your speech. Thanks for sharing your voice. Simon, your speech examines procrastination and the importance of thinking through all angles of hard situations. You share your personal experiences with us and what you're learning as you move through this crazy world. I'm so proud of your courage and vulnerability and your hard work. I wish you nothing but the best moving forward, Simon. Congratulations in completing your speech. Naya, your truth is so real. It's so honest, and it's deeply inspiring. You define normal, and then you turn that idea on its head as you challenge us to reach for extraordinary. You cite your mother and your grandfather's extraordinary moments in life as a light guiding you to become the powerful human you're growing into. Naya, you're extraordinary. You will move mountains. Keep drawing, keep writing, and keep challenging all of the injustices and oppressive structures in this world. Your kind acts really do brighten up this crazy world. I'm so proud of you. Thank you all. Over to you, Carrie.
All right. I think I got it. All right. Newton, I can't see you, but I'm talking to you. Oh, I do see you. Hello. Thank you for your words, Newton, and for giving voice to a concern that many, many people experience. The question of, will I be accepted for who I am? You found recess in the basketball court to be a refuge where conversation came easy and the best feeling of being congratulated for your efforts during the shared experience of playing the same game. I remember seeing you out there. Middle school provided new challenges and many questions about how you'd be viewed by others. There was pressure to change and fear of being rejected. In the uncertainty, you took risks and you put yourself out there. And that's way harder to do than many people think. As an 8th grader, you felt the pressure of responsibility and other people's expectations for how you were showing up and the influence that you would have in your community. Sometimes in the journey of self-acceptance and the acceptance we seek from others, You recognize that there are friends that will come into your life and will go. I thought that your last line of "it is hard to keep friends in arm's reach forever" was powerful and true. Thank you for your words today, Newton. Thank you for your important words. Alex, thank you for sharing your love and appreciation for QSA, the Queer Student Alliance, and what it has been for you as you discover who you are. In your speech, you call for action, you call for a safe place, and describe QSA and that community as a haven for where you could be who you wanted to be. Your understanding of what QSA is has been challenged here. And that then challenges your identity and your community. QSA for you is the place to be open about who you are, what you are experiencing, and to come together to be heard and support one another. The LGBTQ plus community is not a problem to be addressed, but a people, a community to be accepted, which requires, and you ask for this in your speech, respect and safety from freedom from judgment. You share, Alex, that the world should be a safe place for everybody, and it should be free of judgment, and you should be accepted for who you are. Thank you for your extraordinarily important and timely words, Alex. You are loved and you are appreciated for who you are. Cassius. Hi, Cassius. Thank you for sharing the multitude of reasons that people procrastinate, and for pointing out what I thought was super important for all of us to recognize, that it's not for a lack of caring, but in fact, absolutely the opposite of that often. And your words serve as a reminder for anyone in education, myself included, to check the assumptions that we may have about students coming through our classrooms, and to find ways to partner with students to support their efforts in getting over the hurdle of beginning, or of taking the first step. So thank you, Cassius. Thank you for that. Understandably, you prefer time with your friends, and yet you know that as you move to high school, you're going to need strategies for that increased workload, which you share here. I love your closing, Cassius. You have a plan. You have a plan for now. And now is such an important word. You're willing to experiment. You're going to see what works and what doesn't. And then you'll try another plan. And that willingness to be flexible and to figure out and what exactly is going to help you address getting started in high school is so important. And I hope that people that have talked about procrastination, it's showing up as a theme. And I think you have added yet another voice for all of us to be considering. Your words are so important, Cassius. Your words matter. Thank you so much. In closing, I just want to, I know we say it every day, but I leave here every speech with so much to consider about my role as a human and my role as a teacher. And the power of all of your words is something I carry with me all day long, and hopefully into the next community of students. This is a post that I'm going to share with you from Kiese Lehman, who is an educator and an editor and a writer. And some of you have heard excerpts from the memoir Heavy, and some of you have heard sections from How to Slowly Kill Yourself and Others in America. And yesterday there was a post that I saw that made me think of words, your words, speeches, the importance of them. And this is, these are his words. And he's showing two metal tags with sentences that are engraved on them that he's wearing when he's saying these words. I wear two sentences around my neck. One from Lucille Clifton says, they ask me to remember, but they want me to remember their memories, and I keep on remembering mine. The other from James Baldwin says, the very time I thought I was lost, my dungeon shook and my chains fell off. I don't believe in superheroes, but I believe in super sentences. These sentences around my neck are both affirmation and warning. They are ink balms during storms and respites during loneliness. They got me through heavy, and they will help me get my family through the summer. People and their sentences save people and their sentences. People and their sentences humiliate, torture, and kill people and their sentences. My sentences and my actions have done both, and I want us and our sentences to live dynamic lives draped in tender touch. I want us to revise alone and create together. What super sentences have kept you alive, kept you fighting for the good love you deserve? If your super sentences have yet to be written, write them, please. We need to live. We need to revise. It does not have to be this way. So thank you to Mr. Lehman for his words. Thank you for all of your words every day. You are all so appreciated. Monday will be our last day of speeches. And as you go back to your virtual classrooms and you teleport yourselves, please make sure after you check in with your core teachers that you find your way to the Padlets. Thank you. Thank you, speakers. Wonderful.